Okay, it's time for a new mystery unboxing. Now, this is a new pickup for me. Now, this is something that I've been waiting for a very, very long time for a price drop. And finally, it went down to a price that I felt that was palatable in buying the actual particular item. Now, it is a franchise that I grew up with and I still absolutely love, especially if you're into sci-fi and a bit of a nerd. And I've collected this kind of item before, but on a different format. And we'll go into the reasons why I've kind of bought this particular franchise again, or I'm collecting it again. So I got this off of Amazon, and it was secondhand. That just reminds me that I'm gonna get one of my wipes, because especially with secondhand stuff, they are never ever clean. Okay. Got this, so I've got my little wipes here. That's pretty handy. And you'll see what I mean. Hopefully, if it is really as dirty as I think it is. So without further ado, we shall begin the unboxing. And this didn't take too long to come either, and plus free delivery, because obviously Amazon charge, if you're buying a brand new item, they charge you unless you got Amazon Prime, or if it's over £35. I've got an iron, but I need to do free delivery on standard delivery. Then it increased. Oh, it's got a slip cover as well. Oh, I'm really actually happy. I don't want to see what this is already. You might be able to see what it is. Oh, I'm extremely happy. And yeah, it's Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 3 on Blu-ray. Now, what's already got me salivating and already happy already is the fact that it comes in a slipcase. Now, I do have Seasons 1 and 2 on Blu-ray, but they don't have a slipcase in it. And I do have the standalone two-parter, The Best of Both Worlds 1 and 2, parts 1 and 2 on Blu-ray, and the Star Trek event where it picks out the best Next Generation episodes on one Blu-ray, which you can actually get pretty cheap, really. And I think it's got a couple of episodes from The Next Generation. I know Farpoint is one of them, which is the pilot episodes. Now, one of the reasons why, as I said a couple of minutes ago, why I decided to buy this again is that with The Next Generation on Blu-ray, what they've done is that they've gone back to the original negatives, cleaned up the actual negatives, and also redone the effects and the coloring. So when you look at the effects on the ship, certain aliens, even right down to the color on the actual costumes, they look a lot more detailed and crisp. And to me, sometimes when they do remasters, you don't really see too much of a huge difference. But when I've actually seen it compared to the DVD version of it, there's an absolute huge difference. So that's why I've decided to slowly try to rebuy The Next Generation on Blu-ray. Obviously, they've made seasons 1 to 7, so I've still got seasons 4, 5, 6, and 7 to get. Now, with the other shows, for example, the next show would be Deep Space Nine and Voyager. We have not seen them do a Blu-ray version of those particular shows, and this is more to do with a cost-cutting effect, because of the fact that it costs a lot of money to redo the actual effects from the original negatives and of the show, because obviously they've aged, especially if they were to be upscaled. Now, a lot of the streaming services that show the Star Trek shows like The Next Gen and Deep Space Nine and Voyager, they just tend to just upscale it, so it's not really giving you the full remaster. And again, I was kind of skeptical about them going back and redoing the effects and the color. And then when I've actually seen it, it is so much better. It just looks so crisp. I mean, who knows? They might reach some 4K, but as I said, that's why Voyager and Deep Space Nine haven't been done because it's just too much money. And I do think, especially with those two shows, they would look absolutely fantastic with a proper remaster with the effects and the coloring, and really showcase how good Star Trek could be. It's a shame that they're not going to. The Paramount aren't going to sit there and invest the money in doing it. I do know that there was some kind of documentary where they did they gave you a kind of a glimpse of what Deep Space Nine would look like if they remastered the actual the complete run of the Deep Space Nine, and they showed you, I think, a scene. I don't know which scene it was. It may have been from The Way of the Warrior, and they showed you what it would look like in that particular scene if it was especially the space battle scenes with the Klingons, in how it would look like if it was remastered and cleaned up, and it looked really good. So I'm hoping that one day that they actually do this. I'm trying to see if I've got one nearby. No, I haven't. But the original I do have the complete collection of The Next Generation on DVD, but it came in this plastic case, which at the time was very, very expensive at the time, and they did that with Deep Space Nine, and they also did that with Voyager as well, where it came in a red case, a plastic case, and they were expensive. I think they may have been about £70 or £80. I remember seeing them in HMV. Now they're actually pretty cheap now. And they did a similar thing, which I think you would have seen with Star Trek Enterprise, where I do have the complete 4 seasons of that, and with the DVD collection inside of a plastic container, which those with The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager, I am not, and Enterprise, I am not. Even if they did completely replace everything on Blu-ray, I am not going to get rid of those, because there's something about those plastic containers that contain the Blu-ray, the DVD box, should I say, that look absolutely fantastic. So I'm not getting rid of them. Probably I wouldn't get nothing for them anyway, but it just looks really good, and my condition of mine, I look pretty good. Anything after Voyager, it was all filmed on digital film. So for example, Enterprise was it's much easier to remaster that because it was done on digital film. And obviously you've got Discovery and Strange New Worlds, obviously that now obviously they're on digital, filmed with digital cameras now, and obviously the 3 seasons of Picard. So for them to release those particular franchises on 4K or Blu-ray now wouldn't be a problem in terms of having to go frame by frame and clean it up, because it was all digital. But it's just a shame with Voyager and Deep Space Nine, because I do think they really could benefit from proper Blu-ray remaster, and it would give it a new lease of life, in my honest opinion, especially with the second from seasons 4 to 7 on Deep Space Nine, and obviously with Voyager, with that being a lot more colourful, and all the planets they explore being in the Delta Quadrant, it really would allow the movie to actually really pop. But again, and a quick story is that for those of you in the UK, you may have heard of the stores Argos, which was one or two that have their own standalone stores now. Most of them have gone. They're basically been merged with Sainsbury's now, and obviously you've got the things like the Argos app. A couple of years ago, Argos were doing a clearance on their Blu-rays, and that's how I got one of the Star Wars movies. I can't remember. It could have been, I think it would have been The Last Skywalker, and I got it for $2.99 off of Argos, which I did. I knew Argos sold Blu-ray players, but not the Blu-ray discs themselves. And they were selling the complete Blu-ray collection of Star Trek: The Next Generation from seasons 1 to 7, and which is, and at one point was probably up around pushing on £100, but it was selling it for £10 for all 7 seasons. And by the time I caught on to them doing that, it completely had been sold out. So unfortunately, I missed out on that, so I'm gonna have to buy them individually, which doesn't really kind of matter. So yeah, we've got that. So yeah, I loved The Next Generation. Obviously, I sort of remember seeing it the first time as a kid in the UK. I think it probably started airing first in America first, and we got it slightly later in the UK. Now with season 3, this is where it all picked up. They with the uniform changes, obviously the Picard maneuver with his jumper, of all the female Starfleet officers are still wore the all-in-one jumpsuits. Well, we kind of also know why. It then would feature season 3 would then feature the return of Gates McFadden, who was Dr. Beverly Crusher. Obviously, you know the story about what happened and why she didn't appear in season 2. So it was great to have her back, and then we would have by the end of the season 3, part 1 of the famous on one of the best two-part episodes in the whole of Star Trek history, which was The Best of Both Worlds. Now, this contains 26 episodes, which is kind of unheard of now, especially with the streaming services now, that you'll be lucky to get 8 or 10 in any season of a show now, and that was pretty much unheard of. And obviously, Star Trek Next Generation took a while to kind of hit its groove with season 1 and season 2, especially with season 2 with the writer's strike, which affected the actual episodes and the story plots of the of Star Trek Next Generation. But obviously, season 3 is when everything kind of really kicked off. Now, it says the original release was September the 25th, 1989. Wow. And concluded on June 18th, 1990. So that was great. And as I said before, it would, pardon me, it would then lead up to The Best of Both Worlds Part 1, which apparently was also, which I said before, was released, Parts 1 and 2 were released as a complete movie on DVD and on Blu-ray, which I already have, which, if I can fish it out, I can find it. Alright, bear with me. It's all deep, it's still deeply buried in my collection. But yeah, I don't have the Best of Both Worlds handy. So we got season 1, and that doesn't come with a slipcover, which is fine. And then obviously you see on there, they show you can see the before and after effects, so you can see the difference, where it's a lot more detailed. I mean, this is season 2, which I got for £4. I got it for just under £5, which was an absolute bargain. And this came with a slipcase as well. And again, they show you the before and after. I forgot this had a slipcase, and then this has what was really great about season 2 on Blu-ray is that you got the episode A Measure of a Man, but you got the extended edition, so it was actually a longer cut of that episode, which isn't available on the DVD version of it. This one I picked up for £7.80, which is, for me, is an absolute bargain. So now I just need to hunt down for the rest of them. The Best of Both Worlds Parts 1 and 2, they did release as one movie on Blu-ray, which I have, and I think you might be able to find it in my on my channel. If you look up Star Trek, The Best of Both Worlds, you'll will see the unboxing of that. Again, it's very interesting to see the condition of this Blu-ray, obviously with this being second hand. Obviously, no digital copies of the movie, which they never did on the movies. I don't know if in the North American release, whether or not they did do a digital copy of it, of the movies. Again, from what I gather of the streaming of the next gen Deep Space Nine Voyager, they're basically just upscaled versions of the original broadcasting versions of the when they were released, so it's not properly done, so that's a difference. We're looking at the back here. It says brilliant picture, sound and storytelling. Resistance is futile. Season 3 of Star Trek The Next Generation took televised science from storytelling to new heights. Now on high definition Blu-ray. The seminal season of this beloved series is the spectacular and compelling to watch than ever. Experience such thoughtful, thought-provoking episodes such as The Survivors, Sins of a Father, The Offspring are one of the great cliffhangers in television history. Part 1 of The Best of Both Worlds, like never before in glorious 1080p with English 7.1 sound. And I remember the cliffhanger of The Best of Both Worlds, and he goes, Mr. Worf, fire. And then back in those days, you had to wait several months to see the concluding part. Obviously now, with streaming, with Blu-ray and other media and streaming services, you can see it straight away. So you don't have to wait months to see what happens. But it was that cliffhanger, which I remember seeing that cliffhanger and you didn't know what was going to happen. And obviously the original story behind it was that it was done in a way so that if Patrick Stewart didn't return, it would be a way of getting rid of him. And then obviously Riker would have been the new captain. And thankfully, obviously, Patrick Stewart was stayed on as Jean-Luc Picard, and they did do a follow-up episode of The Best of Both Worlds, where obviously Picard returns to his vineyard in France to meet his brother, and the bitter rivalry between Picard and his brother at Chateau Picard, who then we would later see the Chateau Picard again in Star Trek Picard. But the whole scene between him and his brother, and I do love the way that they showed the mental effect that it had on him when the Borg obviously changed him into Locutus. And obviously then we would have Star Trek First Contact, which kind of was a follow-up to what happened to Picard when he became Locutus. And obviously in seasons 6 and 7 we had part 1 of Descent 1 and 2, where then we would see the Borg, some of the Borg in the fractures of the Borg with Data's brother Lore. And then we would see more of the Borg in Star Trek Voyager. Funnily enough, never in Deep Space Nine, and even in Enterprise where they appeared in it, which kind of sets up Star Trek. The Borg, it's all really weird. And then also we first encountered the Borg in season 2 thanks to Q. So yeah, they were a formidable foe. And it says, special features, Star Trek The Next Generation Inside the Writer's Room, and that's in HD. A reunion of the show's key writing staff, moderated by Seth MacFarlane, who we know is a big Star Trek fan, and also the creator of The Orville, which I'm hoping does come back. Also, we know that The Orville is very much in homage to Star Trek, and especially The Next Generation. Resistance is Futile, assimilating Star Trek The Next Generation, and that's on HD. An all-new documentary includes an exploration of the making of key Season 3 episodes, archival mission logs, a tribute to Michael Piller, who sadly died, and it says the tribute to the brilliant writer responsible for giving the series and the Star Trek franchise its second wind. Audio commentaries on several episodes, including yesterday's Enterprise. Oh, that was a brilliant episode. And then Offspring as well, with Data's daughter, Lala. And Sins of the Father, in memoriam of David Rappaport. Gag reel in HD and episodic promos. And the gag reels, if you haven't checked, even if you don't own them, own them on DVD or on Blu-ray, you can check out the gag reels on YouTube, and they're actually really funny. There's one with Worf, which involves Picard. I don't know what season it's from again, but he says there's one of the gags when the gag reels where Picard goes, God, didn't you ever play with model ships as a boy? And then Worf says something, and it's kind of really, really, really funny. I couldn't stop laughing. So anyway, that's what we get on there. We got our wipes, which I'm going to wipe quick, give the front of it a wipe down. Because again, you just don't know how dirty these things are going to be. I do need the Star Trek the original series. I do need season 3 to complete that, to complete my collection of the original Star Trek series on Blu-ray. Which I do absolutely need. And then again, it'll be... So you can see the dirt already. And this is just the slip cover. So God knows sometimes it's changed hands or... We've got all the dirt there. And then we've got the cover there, which I'm going to give this a quick, pardon me, a quick wipe down as well. Again, look at the amount of dirt. These things like these wipes, which you can get for pretty much anywhere really, do come in very handy. Again, look at the amount of dirt there. And then it says here, contains mild language, violence, and sex references. Now, I don't remember the sex references, if I'm being honest. Again, no digital copy. Again, it's a little bit disappointing that they could have put, especially with the crew of the Enterprise, they could have put, I don't remember if they did that on the DVD, which I'm thinking they didn't, that they could have at least put something on there. So you got disc 1, you got disc 2, you got disc 3, so far all PG. You got disc 4, which is rated U. You got disc 5, which is rated 12. And then you've got disc 6, which is a 12 as well. I'm going to have a quick look at... Now, what I do like, what they have at least done, is on the back of the sleeve here, they've at least put the episodes at the back of there. And then I think even the start date and the special features. So the conditioner, pretty condition with disc 1. So at least there's no cracks. Even little smudges like that I can deal with. That's pretty much okay. That's disc 2, so I'm looking at that. We've got disc 3. And then what I do like about Blu-ray is that it's a lot more vulnerable. And that's disc 4. Got conditioner. I might have a quick butcher's of it when I finished the unboxing of this. And of course, if you've got a 4K TV, and a 4K player, there are ways how you can even upscale the Blu-ray from there to make it look a little bit better. So that's disc 5. And then finally we have disc 6. So that is season 3 of The Next Generation, obviously. I still need season 4, 5, 6, and 7 to complete my collection. I think for Star Trek Enterprise, which I already do on DVD, the complete collection of that, I just need season 2, I think. And then I'll have that complete on Blu-ray as well. Now we'll go through all 26 episodes. And we won't go over it in detail. So episode 1 is titled Evolution. Episode 2 is titled The Ensigns of Command. Episode 3 is titled Survivors. Episode 4, Who Watches the Watchers. Episode 5, The Bonding. Sorry if I've said episode 4 is The Watchers. Who Watches the Watchers. Episode 5 is The Bonding. Episode 6 is Booby Trap. Episode 7 is The Enemy. Episode 8, The Price. Episode 9, The Vengeance Factor. Episode 10, The Defector. Number 11, The Hunted. Number 12, The Higher Ground. Episode 13, Deja Q. And this is the one where the Q continuum strips Q, that's John Delancey, of his powers and dumps aboard the Enterprise. A really good episode. Episode 14, The Matter of Perspective. And that's Riker is accused of murder and the holodeck is used to reconstruct the events of the different perspectives. That was a really good episode. One of my favourites, episode 15, Yesterday's Enterprise. This was directed by David Carlson, who then would direct the movie Star Trek Generations, which celebrated its anniversary this week. The USS Enterprise C arrives from the past, causing a shift in reality and the return of the deceased Tasha Yar, played by Denise Crosby. Another fantastic episode, episode 16 for Offspring. This was directed by Jonathan Frakes, who plays Commander Riker. Lieutenant Commander Data creates a young Gino Lala, played by Haley Todd, when he considers his daughter, but Starfleet Admiral arrives demanding that she be removed from the Enterprise. Typical. Episode 17, Sins of the Father. Lieutenant Worf tries to prove his father's innocence after the Klingon High Council declares his long-dead father was a traitor and betrayed the Klingon outpost, the Romulans, and that's a very interesting story. Another great episode is episode 18, Allegiance. The aliens kidnap Captain Picard and replace him with a duplicate who sends the Enterprise to a pulsar. Meanwhile, the real Picard and 3 other captives try to escape their prison, and that's a very, very good episode. Episode 19, Captain's Holiday. Captain Picard is convinced to take some much-needed shore leave on Risa, but gets wrapped up in a woman's treasure hunt. Episode 20, Tin Man. The gifted beta soldier who Deanna Troi once treated as a patient comes aboard to establish a first contact with an unknown vessel near the unstable star before the Romulans do. Episode 21, Hollow Pursuits, another great episode. Lieutenant Reginald Barclay, played by Dwight Schultz, use of the holodeck to escape interferes with his duties. Meanwhile, the Enterprise suffers from the mysterious and random malfunctions. Episode 22, Farjol is an obsessed collector and is determined to add data to his private collection of unique items. So that's episode 22, The Most Toys. And that was a very good episode as well. Episode 23, titled Sarek. The Enterprise is plagued by outbreaks of violence, which is then visited by renowned Vulcan ambassador Sarek, played by Mark Leonard. Discovering that Sarek is suffering from an incurable disease, Picard must allow a mind meld so that the ambassador can complete his last vital negotiations between the Federation and Legana and the Legaran. And episode 24, Menage a Trois. The Ferengi kidnap Chancellor Troi, Lexana Troi, and Commander William Riker. That's episode 24. Episode 25 is Transfigurations. The Enterprise rescues a humanoid with amnesia and incredible healing powers. So that's episode 25. And episode 26 concludes with The Best of Both Worlds, Part 1. Picard is kidnapped by the Borg as they begin the invasion of the Federation space. And it's, according to this, says in 1997, the TV Guide ranked this episode as the 70 on the top list of the 100 greatest episodes in 2009. It's since moved to 36 from 70, which I'm not surprised because it was absolutely brilliant, The Best of Both Worlds. And that cliffhanger, for me, one of the best TV cliffhangers of all time, because you just didn't know what was going to happen. As I said before, back in those days, you had to wait months until they would show the following new season. So that I absolutely love that. So yeah, that's season 3 of Star Trek: The Next Generation on Blu-ray. Now, again, as I said, being remastered from the original negatives, and the special effects and have been redone, and obviously any colors have been given a remaster and a pop. So if you're a Star Trek fan or even a Next Generation fan, I definitely would recommend, regardless of how much you're going to pay, whether it's as a complete box set or you're picking up one by one, I definitely would recommend picking up these remastered versions of the actual seasons. And again, season 3 is when everything all kicked off and picked up in the Star Trek Next Generation season. So hopefully we'll be able to do a video on the other seasons when I'm hopefully being able to get them at a really, really good price. Anyway, hope people enjoyed this video. Please feel free to share with your friends and family. Also, you can give this video a thumbs up. I would highly appreciate that. That will allow people to find my YouTube channel on the YouTube recommendation page. Now, this is because of the YouTube algorithms favor the bigger YouTubers, so the smaller YouTubers like myself don't get a look in and don't get their channels advertised or recommended, because obviously we're just too small. So if there's any questions that you want to ask about this particular Blu-ray, whether or not what I am and if it's any good in with this particular season, or maybe even tell me what your favorite some of your favorite episodes were in season 3 or the other seasons of Star Trek, or what your favorite Star Trek franchise was, then, you know, drop a comment in the comment section and let me know of these things. Anyway, if you already haven't, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel if you want to see stuff like this, like Blu-ray unboxings, my Blu-ray and DVD and Blu-ray steelbook collection, and obviously my other Blu-ray unboxings, food and drink reviews, clothing pickups, gadgets, comic books, old and new, and rare comics, graphic novels, figures and statues. You'll be in the right place. Video game pickups, video game unboxings. I think that's what I do. Art books, which I've got coming up, whether or not they're video game, movie, or comic book related. I'm sure there's something for everybody on my channel. Movie and TV show reviews, TV show and movie recommendations, rants sometimes, and real life vlogs and stuff like that, which I do. The vlogs I do the beginning of every month. So and also autobiographies, like the last one I did was this Patrick Stewart one, Make It So, which I've got to remember to read. Gotta find time to kind of knuckle down and kind of read that. So yeah, there's something for everybody on my YouTube channel. So I'm sure there's bound to be something that people will like. Anyway, just before last Christmas, we hit 500 subs. A few months ago, we hit 600, and now we're halfway to 800 subs. So a big thank you to these subscribers, old and new, for getting me to where I am today. So a big thank you to all of you. Hopefully you're all enjoying the content. And again, the channel is as much as mine as it is yours, because it's a symbiotic relationship in the sense of I make the content, and you know, people have to like it and enjoy it. And I mean, so far, like my subscribership is going up slowly but surely, and the views on certain videos are, some of them are really high. So I really appreciate you guys for getting me where I am today, and which is more of a hobby and not as a job. So it's just stuff that I love doing, and it's just nice to feel appreciated. So a big thank you to all of you. Hopefully we'll get to 800 subs, and then again, the big milestone for me will be 1000k. Or 1k. Hopefully we'll get there sooner rather than later. Anyway, I also do live stream on Twitch. I don't have set days, unfortunately, due to health issues and ongoing stuff that's going on in my life. And obviously now we've got Christmas coming up. So if you want to follow me there, it's the same name as my YouTube name. Just add the 76. I will link the link in the description box, and you can also see when I live stream on when I go live on Twitter. And we're currently on 45 followers. I'm hoping to at least get another 5 to get 50. So hopefully we can at least hit 50, maybe even before Christmas, who knows. So yeah, please follow me on Twitch. Most of the videos are exported unless I have copyright music onto YouTube anyway. So please follow me on Twitch. On a rare occasion, I do live stream on YouTube. It's gonna be more casual gaming, which is platform games, shoot 'em ups, beat 'em ups, and sports games, things like that. So you can catch me on a rare occasion I do go live. Even if you do miss me going live, I will keep up the video so you can watch it whenever you're ready. So even if you do miss it, me going live, it's there. I thought it would be nice to sit there and have you know, to get live people watching. But even if you can't miss it, depending on where you are in the world or working, the videos will be kept up. So again, keep an eye out and another notification on that occasion where my live stream. Especially now I've got the Sega Mega Drive collection, or Genesis as you call it in North America. And now that we're coming up to Christmas, who knows, we might do, you know, like some beam-ups like Streets of Rage 1, 2, 3, or Sonic games, which I'm completely rubbish at. Which I need practice at. So again, keep an eye out for that. And it just leaves me to say, wherever you are in the world, please stay safe. And especially keep warm, because especially over here in the UK now, it's absolutely freezing. Not snowing here where I am in London, although some parts of Scotland it actually is. So again, please keep warm. If you're going to go out, make sure you wrap up and have thermals, because it's going to be really cold. And I will speak to you again on my next video. As Picard would say, make it so. Bye for now.